Back in the days of FNAF's Click Team era, Scott was the sole developer for these games, and with there only being one man on the production team for these games, there's bound to be at least a couple of mistakes hiding within them. And today we're going to be covering every single error / mistake that you missed in Five Nights at Freddy's 1 all the way up until Ultimate Custom Night. But before we begin, I want to say that these are all really small mistakes, often to do with rendering issues, which is really impressive that across several games there's not many big problems present in any of them, and all of my information from this video is going to be coming from the Concordance wiki, and I'll link the wiki page down in the description for you to check out yourself. But anyways, let's get straight into the video. The first Five Nights at Freddy's game is incredibly nostalgic for me, mainly because I was only a little fella when it came out, and I vividly remember watching—
Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier.
I also remember me genuinely screaming when a jump scare would come on screen. But anyways, let's take a look at this classic with our sleuthing skills and an extra strong magnifying glass. Starting out, the Steam cover shows Freddy's jaw clipping through his bow tie. In the very first shot of the game's trailer, we can spot Freddy's endo clipping straight through his hand, and later on in the trailer, Freddy's jaw also clips through his bow tie. Again in the trailer, when we see Bonnie taking a leisurely stroll down the corridor on his way to punch the night guard, we see him clip straight through these hanging stars here. Later on in the same trailer, when he's removing his mask, we see his ears clip through the camera screen. Moving into the actual gameplay, I want to talk about Foxy specifically, starting with his jump scare animation where his right ear clips through the top of the door. His torso also disconnects from his lower half, as well as clipping into his pants area. Furthermore, the lighting during his jump scare is high up and causes the camera monitors to reflect the room and reveal that there is no player model at all, so either we are a ghost or a very cool vampire with no reflection. Also, the wiki states that during his jump scare, Foxy's teeth turn from white to gold, but when I looked closely at the image, the golden teeth are in fact still there, they're just darker and harder to see. But there are also extra white teeth that aren't present in the normal model, so I assume this is what the wiki's talking about. In the series of various newspapers you can spot throughout the game, there are multiple spelling mistakes in the writing, but I couldn't find good images of the specific newspapers, so here's the wiki's description, and the misspelled words are pizzeria, threatened, and surveillance. In the office, there is a celebrate poster on the wall, and in this poster we can see Bonnie define the literal laws of physics as he hovers ever so slightly off the stage. The wiki says that Golden Freddy has the same handprint as normal Freddy. However, I have no clue what this means, so I couldn't find a reference image to stick in this video for you. When Freddy and Chica, the only two characters present on the stage, Chica's eyes will just completely disappear for some reason, and I'm completely unsure why. During the power outage that occurs if you waste all of your power during the night, the rest of the room becomes incredibly dark. However, for a split second where the doors are still down before they go up, you can note that their lighting is completely unaffected. Now that's all for FNAF 1, so let's move swiftly on into Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Alright, so out of all the FNAF games made on the Click Team engine by Big Scotty C, FNAF 2 has by far the most mistakes for me to talk about. But this is to be expected, as it has the second largest number of characters as well as the largest location seen in the franchise. So let's get straight into it. When Toy Freddy enters the office before he kills you, his big jaw will clip into his head ever so slightly. In the teaser where we first saw Toy Bonnie, we can note that he just doesn't have his right arm, which to be fair, his model may not have been entirely completed, or it may have just been easier to make the teaser if he didn't have it, but I'm not sure. At some angles seen on the cameras, you can notice that Withered Chica's insides are completely untextured, although I doubt any of the other animatronics also have their insides textured, but unlike our good pal Withered Chica here, we don't have any obscure camera angles letting us see inside to check. When Toy Chica is spotted in the Party Room 4 camera, her waist clips through her shorts, and I can imagine that there was probably at least one weirdo on the wiki's team who enjoyed looking over every frame of Toy Chica. We've all seen the jokes and the over-sexualized nature of this animatronic before. It's why I deleted Tumblr. On the topic of waist, when in the Parts and Service camera, Withered Foxy's waist is completely disconnected from his legs. Mangle, mangle, mangle. You were an absolute mess and definitely gave Scott sleepless nights when you were being made, but because of your design you come with a myriad of issues. Starting off, we have the fact that Mangle just doesn't fit into any of the rooms of the FNAF 2 pizzeria lighting wise. Her second endoskeleton head clips through her ear at two different points in the game, being here and here. This head also clips straight through the walls of the right air vent. In the last frame of Withered Bonnie's jump scare, we can see his thumb just jolt forward after the rest of his body stops moving. When Withered Freddy shows up in your office, his microphone clips through his hand and his left shoulder is also clipping through his upper arm. There are 3 character jump scares which involve the animatronics jumping out at the player, these being Withered Foxy, the puppet, and Withered Golden Freddy. And if you aren't looking down the center hallway, it looks like they are jumping out from the walls. The first frame in Toy Bonnie's jump scare has his knees and thighs clipping through his stomach. Withered Bonnie's mugshot in the custom night menu shows his bow tie clipping into his jaw. Balloon Boy has black buttons in the left vent blind spot, but this isn't the only thing, as his body clips into the floor and his hand clips into his sleeves. Both Golden and regular Withered Freddy have wires which clip through their feet. In the first night phone call, Phone Guy claims we are working for a summer job, although the paycheck at the end of the game states we are in November and the messages don't seem to be pre-recorded, as we get updates on things like the pizzeria being closed down temporarily as they happen. This pizzeria, a kids restaurant, does not have a kitchen. Where is the food being made? Tell me, Freddy, where is it being made? But existential crisis aside, that's all for FNAF 2 in terms of errors and mistakes. Not too bad for such a large game in comparison to FNAF 1, and from a one-man army as well. But let's talk about Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Diving straight into the third installment of this franchise, I want to talk about our favourite Springy Boy. Now it's canon that he was in the safe room for around 30 years, although the exact period of time is still unconfirmed. Now we can still see parts of the purple guy's corpse inside the suit, however his corpse should have long decomposed by now, so this really doesn't fit with the timeline. In one of the frames on the main menu, we can see Afton's face clipping through the Springtrap mask. In both cam 11 and 14, Springtrap's right arm clips through the vent wall, and in cam 15 we can see his left arm clipping through the wall yet again. The Let's Eat text seen on Phantom Chica's bib is flipped around and slightly shifted towards the left side. Phantom Chica's jump scare also has a few oddities and errors. Firstly, her right shoulder clips with the rest of her arm, her left arm also twitches and bugs out, making it face backwards, whilst her right arm does a swimming-like motion. Phantom Foxy has one red wire on his head, which is disconnected from the rest of his body, although it does appear attached to the side of his eye, it is slightly in front of his face. Also, before he jump scares you, he can be seen hovering slightly above the ground in the office, but they are phantoms which are basically just ghosts, so just like Bonnie in FNAF 1, no laws of physics affect this man. In Phantom Freddy's jump scare, his left eye actually goes out of sync and performs a spinning motion. Now, we have successfully made our way to the end of the original trilogy, but we haven't seen the final chapter just yet. It's time for Five Nights at Freddy's 4. Now, this nightmare fuel of a game, for those who enjoy the FNAF lore, doesn't actually have many mistakes in terms of gameplay. Sadly, this can't be said for its implications on the lore. Fuck you, Five Nights at Freddy's 4. Also, that's why my FNAF 4 retrospective hasn't come out yet. The timeline is a mess. Anyways, let's talk about what you're here for. First of all, the Nightmare Bonnie jump scare actually has two issues with it. The first of which being that his left hand actually clips through the door frame during the jump scare. And secondly, in the last frame of the jump scare, his left pupil will go unaligned with the rest of his eye. So this is my good friend Balloon Bitch, and I've made it no secret that I dislike this insolent little child, but in this game he looks somewhat cool, and is in the Halloween update taking the place of Plushtrap. Anyways, when you see him on Plushtrap's chair, his jaw will actually clip into his shirt, and throughout the jump scare you can notice his teeth clipping into each other, his right thumb clipping through his other fingers, and thighs clipping through one another. Also, when you catch him out on the X during the minigame, you can actually see his nose through the eye socket. Nightmare Bonnie actually has an extra flowing wire seen in the extras menu. Yet again, in the extras menu there is a slight mistake to do with the Nightmare Cupcakes jump scare sound, as in the actual game this silly little guy shares the same noise as the other Nightmare animatronics, however in the extras menu he has Plushtrap's higher pitched jump scare. When you see Chica retreating down the hall, her jaw actually clips through her body. Now the fact that somebody noticed this is genuinely insane, but the next thing described on the wiki, similar to the Golden Freddy thing earlier in the video, is incredibly hard to notice and refers to Nightmare Foxy in his closet, specifically at the primed attack stage of his movement pattern. Here's what the wiki is saying is seen, and after very close inspection and a lot of zooming in, I think they are talking about these little black cylinder things that are covering part of Foxy's nose rings, but I'm not sure. Anyways, during Plushtrap's jump scare you can actually spot his endoskeleton clipping through his hands. Furthermore, when he returns to the chair during the minigame, his pelvis actually clips through his torso. Nightmare Freddy has two jump scares in the game, being his bedroom one and his bed one, depending on where you're looking when he attacks. Now in the bedroom jump scare, which looks like this, his eyes start spinning, which I swear happened with another animatronic earlier in this video, and I feel like that one was also Freddy. And then in the bed jump scare, which for reference looks like this, it's shown that the bedside table doesn't actually have its top side rendered in, as you can see directly through it, and the lamp floats, because yet again, we dislike physics in this franchise. The Freddos, who also appear on the bed, do actually clip through the surface of said bed. Main case is the feet here on all of the Freddos, also the middle one will clip straight through the bed when he's escaping. But that's all for FNAF 4, I think it's time we talk about Five Nights at Freddy's sister location. You're really pushing the engine with this one, Mr. Cawthon, but I can still see the flaws in your design. Here, let me show you. When Funtime Freddy's faceplates open in the parts and service area, his ears move with the face. Bonnet's paw clips through a muzzle when you click on her in the custom night mode. This is also present in Ultimate Custom Night. When in the scoop room, you can see that some of the animatronic parts clip through the floor. These include, but are not limited to, Bonbon's ears, Funtime Foxy's arms and fingers, as well as Bellora's skirt, although there are definitely more that I and the wiki haven't noticed. During his or her or what is Funtime Foxy? Everywhere I look gives me a different answer. Anyways, during Funtime Foxy's jump scare, when their faceplates open up, they will actually clip through Foxy's ears. Lastly, during the Michael Afton cutscene at the very end of the game, it shows Springtrap's animation present on screen earlier than it's supposed to be visible, as seen by his hand that is slightly poking out from a corner of the screen. But that's actually all for Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location, and for such an innovative game in the series, I'm surprised there's not more mistakes and errors here. Just like in my removed content video, I'm going to be doing FNAF Pizzeria Simulator and Ultimate Custom Night in one section due to the small amount of content. But I will tell you when we move into the Ultimate Custom Night stuff though, so let's get a move on, shall we? For some reason, Scrapchat exists, but that's not what we need to mention here. But it is a problem though. But during his jump scare, why does he have bone ears, a bone nose, and bone lips? Has this man undergone fossilization in the safe room of Freddy Fazbender's Pizza? How odd. In Scrap Baby's rare screen, you can actually see that her thighs and knees are above her skirt, which is actually weird that I never noticed this because I have gotten this screen so many times in the past. In Lefty's rare screen, his microphone is actually clipping into his left leg, and following the pattern of these rare screens having issues, the Molten Freddy one shows some of his wires just clipping straight into the bin. But that's it for Five Nights at Freddy's Pizzeria Simulator. Let's get straight into Ultimate Custom Night. Toy Chica can attack from both sides in this game, and this causes her sprite to flip depending on whichever side she is attacking from. And this wouldn't cause any issues other than the fact that it actually causes the text on her bib to flip the wrong way around too. However, this was later patched. In Mangle's jump scare, you can see that her lower jaw isn't connected to the rest of the face. Also, the endo head is detached from the rest of Mangle's body. As with many characters in Ultimate Custom Night, Balloon Boy has had most of his assets reused, and this means that the lighting issues have carried over from FNAF 2 as well as his clipping through the vent issues. PS, this also applies to JJ, who uses the same model just on a different hue setting. Nightmare Freddy's character description diminishes him by just giving him the title of Freddy. Lastly, Scrap Baby's upper legs clip through her skirt whenever she's in the office. A quick thing I want to mention that doesn't really tie in with the games is this thank you image, which has Mangle's render flipped for some reason. Pay attention to the eyes here. Also, Endo01 has eyebrows. And with that, we have officially covered every single mistake that you missed in Five Nights at Freddy's, from the first game all the way up until Ultimate Custom Night. Now, if you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, but it's time for me to get all serious and tell you what's coming next here on the channel. To start with, I have begun scripting for my Five Nights at Candy's video and started filming the Candy's Build in Minecraft video, and those will come out back to back when they are done. The next video here on the channel should be my Poppy's Playtime Chapter 3 video. Then after that, I want to try out some new things, so maybe some challenge videos for, say, FNAF World or Security Breach. If you want to leave me some FNAF challenges that I will complete for videos in the future, drop them down in the comments below. And as promised, the Bendy and the Dark Revival video is about halfway edited now, so that will be out soon enough. But until next time, fellas, have a great rest of your day and night. Adios, amigos.